this is the last long section on the on useful built-in functions, okay? And we're interested now in functions that enable us to sort and reshape our arrays. You know, many times we have data, and data in arranged in tabular forms in arrays, matrices, vectors, and for one reason or another, it can be for programming purposes, it can be for statistical purposes. We are called to sort or reshape our arrays. Oh my God, that happens more than what you think in the course of programming. And we shall be seeing that in our exercises and examples and the projects that will be coming forward with other courses. You will see how all of this is used. Let me just say this in passing. MATLAB is everything that we are learning now, okay? It's really the fundamentals, because later on it's just these fundamentals that we reuse over and over again to adapt to different contexts and to have different results according to what we want our programming outcome to be. Okay, so this is really the language, this is how we communicate with the computer. What we are doing now is really the most important part for me, for what I've seen so far. Okay, so let's get into the matter. So let's create an array A with which we'll be playing, and I'll say Randy of let me take a large number 9, and let's make it 4 by 4. Okay, let's also create a vector V. I will just use linspace for it, and let me say I will go from 0 to 10, and I want 11 points. Okay, so I have that. So that's what we have here. Now let me reduce that V. Okay, uh let's take 6 points. Yeah, something short. Yeah, good. Okay, so the very first thing I would like us to look at is how to transpose a matrix. Okay, how to transpose a matrix. Transpose simply means that we make the first row to become the first column and the first column to become the first row. Okay, so there is an interchange of dimensions. Okay, all rows become columns and all columns become row, and the first row just becomes the first column and the first column becomes the first row, and it continues in the order in which it was. Okay, so for that, generally, if you see other MATLAB tutorials or even in books, they will tell you to use a transpose, okay, just the apostrophe like that. But I won't advise this, okay, because this transpose, if you look at the MATLAB help documentation, it tells you that it includes conjugates of complex numbers. So you will not want this, because if you had complex numbers included in this array, it will have also done the transpose of it would have done the conjugate rather of those complex numbers. Okay, so we don't want conjugate transpose. This is what is called conjugate transpose. Okay, so what I'll advise you to use for transpose is a dot apostrophe. Okay, so it gives the same answer, but then this will not disturb you when it comes to complex numbers. You will always have the expected results. So I'll advise you get acquainted with this dot apostrophe rather than simple apostrophe. Okay, so now let's look at the matrices again to compare the results and understand what this does exactly. So you see the first column has become the first row, second column, second row, third column, third row, and fourth column, fourth row. Okay, so the nth column becomes the nth row, and the nth row becomes the nth column. It's as simple as that. That's the meaning of transpose. Okay, that's what it does. I'm explaining this for those who may not have had the opportunity of coming in contact with linear algebra or something. Okay, so now we have to start playing. Okay, we have to start playing. The next function I would like us, oh no, we've applied transpose just to A, right? So let's look at V. What happens if I say V dot that, it simply becomes that. Okay, it's just a row, so it just becomes the corresponding column. So in the transpose there is an interchange of sizes. Okay, so let me take it CLC. So if I say size of A, Okay, I have this. Oh no, A is not a A is not a good example to take for this because it's 4 by 4 and even its transpose will still be 4 by 4. So let's just take V, right? Because from the explanation, the answer is obvious, okay? So size of V will be this, and size of V transpose will be 6 by 1. So there's just an interchange of dimensions, as you can see, okay? So this takes me to the permute function, okay? So let's go to CLC. You could also, did I say CLC? What happened? Okay, so you could also use the permute function to do that, okay? So permute simply allows you to somehow interchange the dimensions of a particular what should I say, of a particular array. Okay, we have two dimensions, right, from what we've seen so far, because arrays are way more than that, and we shall see that in the later tutorial. And I think we should keep permute even for the later tutorial, because it won't really make any sense to use permute here. So let's allow that for a future tutorial where we'll be looking at multi-dimensional arrays, because here with just two dimensions, there's a possibility of having a third dimension and even a fourth dimension, as much as you like. Okay, so when we reach there, we will look at the permute function. So now let's play a little bit. I would like us to look next at the circ shift command. Circ shift. Okay, so what does circ shift do? Okay, circ shift it's better explained by example. Okay, it's better explained by example. So it works only on column vectors rather. So I have V is a row vector, right? I'll need to put it into a column vector, and on arrays, obviously we'll look at that on A in a jiffy, right? So look at this. I have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, circ shift does what we call, it's a circular shift, the way circ shift speaks. Okay, so what happens when we apply circ shift for one time, 10 goes up to the first position and every other thing shifts down. Okay, so the last value becomes the first value always in circ shift. So last value becomes the first value and all the other values just translate down. So if I apply circ shift on this V transpose once, I'll use V transpose the old manner again. So if I say circ shift, okay, of V dot transpose, okay, comma, K here indicates the number of times you want to do circ shift. Let's put it a first time, okay. What happens? You see here is 0, 2, 4, right? So then the last number becomes the first number, and okay, so it is a circular something. Okay, so 10 becomes the first and every other thing shifts down. The order is always maintained. The order is always maintained, but then the last value becomes the first value and all the other values shift down. Okay, it's a sort of arrangement, it's a sort of permutation, as you can see. Okay, so let's change V permanently so that V becomes the transpose of V. Okay, let's change that permanently. Good. So let's remind ourselves of V again, and now let's apply circ shift twice to understand. V comma 2. Okay, what will happen this time around? Okay, it has done it twice. So the first time 10 went up, as we saw, okay, and the other goes down, and then this second time what happens? 8 becomes the last value. Okay, so 8 goes up and the 10 goes down. So this operation will continue the number of times that you want it to continue. So if we say 3, then 6 becomes the first value and 8 and 10 go down, right? So let's go ahead. 3, you can see that. Okay, I'm sure that's understood, right? So this will do exactly the same thing for our matrix A, following each column, right? we've seen this type of operations before. It will do it column by column. So let's apply circ shift on A just once, just to understand the principle better. Okay, what happens? 9 here has become the first, while 6, 1, and 8 has gone down. Okay, here 4 has become the first, 7, 7 gone down. Here 1, the first, and 6, 6. So the first row actually goes up, okay, and all the other rows shift under that. So it does that column by column, as you can see. Okay, if we do this twice, then what happens now? It takes from the first time. This 8-7 is now the last, so it goes up, and the 9-4 goes down, and so on and so forth. Right? So all of this happen column by column, but we can swap it actually for it to become row by row. How do we do that? We've seen this kind of thing before. We just indicate the dimension to be 2. Okay. Let's just go over this again. CLC A, okay, A, okay, circ now, okay, circ. We want it just once for a start, and then indicate the second dimension. So what happens now? The last column becomes the first column, and the other columns shift, okay, as you can see, right? And if I apply it the second time right here, this is exactly what happens. So don't ask yourself, oh, where can I use this? In MATLAB, it is good to have enough information. It is good to have enough of these built-in functions understood, because while you're programming, they come in very handy at points where you don't even imagine that they could appear. Okay, so we will stop here for now, and we will continue with these functions in the next session. Okay.